That's it. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode Turkey 1 of the Drunken Under Quarantine show, presented to you by Woolen Comedy Club. I, of course, am President-elect HIckory, the Drunken Underwhelming. I will be joined by Vice President-elect G.W. Foley and Secretary of State-elect Collen Doyle, and also the man who is not an elect because he is the fucking official king of the Zoom boom, but he will be our Chancellor-elect of having a great fucking time. We've had a hell of a week. It's Thanksgiving this week, and we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about a few things that we are grateful for. We're going to talk about the fact that Joe Biden's status went from president-elect to politician on Facebook, and the fact that that doesn't mean anything because Facebook doesn't mean anything. We're going to talk about the Great Reset was trending on Twitter, proving that it might not just be a crazy conspiracy theory. We're going to talk about the myth that the turkey was supposed to be the national bird. We're going to talk about a couple great articles from the Babylon Bee's been putting out. And lastly, we're going to corn up the cheese factor here. And we're going to talk about a few things that we're grateful for, because we might be funny men, but we're also grateful for a lot of things. And there's a lot of silver linings in COVID, and we'll get to that later. But without further ado, I welcome to the spotlight stage the Vice President-elect, Mr. G.W. Foley.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? Yes, it is I, the Vice President-elect G.W. Foley. My fellow Americans. I don't know. I can't do I'm gonna leave the impersonations up to Colin. I can't do them. I suck at it. Like, everyone sound like this is me doing an impersonation of my mother-in-law. Hey, I'm Cindy. Like, they all sound the same. Like, they all sound like me. Like, I just can't really do it. Is it wrong that I just barely realized that it's going to be Thanksgiving on Thursday? This month has flown by, and I'm not prepared, and I don't know what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to go to Denny's for Thanksgiving, which, don't feel bad for me. I know what I'm in for. It's one of those. I mean, I can't see my mom, and I don't feel like cooking in my apartment because my kitchen is so small. Like, when I think Thanksgiving, I think of like giant spreads of food, like more food than you can possibly eat, and like true gluttony, like the American way, like and and like cooking in my apartment, like I have a tiny oven, and my burners are the small burners, so like I don't even have a big burner. Like, god damn it, I want a big oven. Like something where like I could cook like 5 pounds of pasta in one day, or in one setting, instead of having to do it in like multiple trips. But so I'm thinking about going to Denny's, and it's good, everything's there except for leftovers, which is the worst part about it. Like, I'm not gonna have any turkey sandwiches. I'm not gonna make any like weird casseroles with turkey and mashed potatoes. that's that that's not gonna happen for me, and I'm kind of sad about that. um Still don't have COVID, which is good. I'm happy about that. I'm just trying to think of the next line to say. Uh, that's the only reason why I bring up COVID. Uh, yeah, like when I'm talking to somebody, I'm like, oh hey, yeah, I don't have COVID. That's great. Um, have had a little car trouble today, or for a while, I guess. Um, and I'm scared now because I don't know shit about cars. My and I'm bringing it to a mechanic, and I'm freaking out because I don't know how much. Like, I can't judge how much it's gonna cost. Like, with like a blowjob and a prostitute, I could at least be like, all right, you look like about a $25 girl, or I could probably swing it down to $5. Like, mechanics, I'm just like, you're gonna just fuck me, and I'm gonna pay it. So charge away, big boy. Um, I hate the fact that it's getting colder now. As a smoker, I smoke outside, and I hate having to bundle up for 5 minutes where I'm outside for 5 minutes smoking a cigarette and then coming back in and getting undressed. Like it's such an incredible waste of time. Uh, People say, "Why don't you stop smoking?" And I say, "No, fuck that. I like the nicotine. It's good." All right, that's about my time. Let me turn it over to the Secretary of State-elect Collen Doyle.
Hey, thank you so much. I'm surprised I'm the Secretary of Defense or whatever. I'm surprised they just didn't change my status to politician. Here's Collen Doyle, generic politician. Here we go. I love GW, how you're saying how you're like bundling up to go out to smoke when we all know that you're really just putting on a pair of shorts and a t-shirt. Like by bundling up, he's like, I have to remotely get dressed and then go outside and smoke a cigarette in a pair of mud boots and shorts. It's brutal is what I'm telling you. I'd like to get started with my first topic tonight of discussion, which is Thanksgiving sacrifice, right? We're all making so many sacrifices this Thanksgiving. We're sacrificing, not getting together as families to enjoy Thanksgiving. Correct me if I'm wrong. I enjoy having Thanksgiving with my family. Does the rest of the country? It seems like a lot of people basically complain about this shit. Like every year up until this point, I've heard about people complaining about having to leave the city, having to go back to whatever, middle American place that they're from, deal with the middle American people that they're dealing with that don't agree to their ideal. Guess what? You get to skip that this year. You get to skip that this year. You get to stay in your little bubble. And I don't want to hear you complain. Now that we don't have this going on, people still want to complain. Well, I want to go do a normal Thanksgiving, and I'm not going to do that though. They'll stand on their moral high ground. I'm not going to do that because, that's what it is. I got my COVID test today. I swabbed both sides of my nose 3 times. I get the test result back Wednesday, just in time for me to do absolutely nothing with anybody. That's what I'm doing. I live alone. And I am not going to see anybody this Thanksgiving because that seems like probably the responsible and appropriate thing to do, given the global pandemicness of it all. But a lot of people who are forgoing this are saying, like, this is a sacrifice. This is a terrible sacrifice that I have to make. You know what a sacrifice was? A sacrifice was what both of my grandfathers made at the age of 18 when they said goodbye to everybody that they loved and the only life they've ever known, to board a boat, to head to another part of the world to war for this country. That was the sacrifice. My grandfather, Nan, I don't even know where he went. I had to call my aunt because I'm writing this and I'm sitting there thinking, like, I don't even know where he went. He went Czechoslovakia, Paris. He said he was in the European theater. It was so traumatic for him that he never said anything to anybody about what he had to do or where he had to go. My grandfather Doyle spoke briefly about his time in the South Pacific and off the coast of Africa and parts of Europe. Again, very vague. These were 18-year-old men who risked their lives. Most of the people in my grandfather's platoon of 50 people, only about 4 of them lived. 46 of them died. So these were great sacrifices. These were really the big sacrifices that people made. Not going to your house for Thanksgiving for turkey. Are you really going to go there? Are you actually going to go there? And then like people that's the worst part of their life in this pandemic and they're going to complain about not having Thanksgiving together. Guess what? Evictions, all-time high. Foreclosure on property, bordering all-time high. Unemployment, all-time high. Food insecurity, bordering all-time high. Homelessness, all-time high. But I really wanted to have turkey all together. I really just want to have Thanksgiving together. If that is what you're upset about today, please, as all these people say, hashtag check your privilege. Just check your privilege for 2 seconds. Recently, got my hair cut in Woodstock, and the woman who cut my hair decided that she really wanted to just be very vocal about her political opinions the entire time while cutting my hair, which I thought was an interesting choice to make as a stylist. She started the conversation by saying, you hear Cuomo's getting an award, huh? And I'm like, nah, I'm not really, I don't really pay attention that much. And she goes, well, I didn't realize we're giving awards to serial killers now. And I'm like, oh, that's an interesting take. And she started to talk about how, she goes, all the work Giuliani did destroyed. What was the work Giuliani did? Please remind me. Was that displacement? I am confused. What was the beautiful portfolio of work Giuliani did in New York? This guy was probably, I think most New Yorkers would agree, the worst mayor that New York ever had. Probably the worst district attorney New York's ever had. And somehow they have now come back and tried to make this, that some type of him being the mayor in New York was some type of beautiful thing. On Giuliani's first day, what he said was his big goal was, when I leave office, not one piece of public land will be owned by the city of New York. That's a hell of a goal. Sell off your entire city to private development. That was Giuliani. So this woman's just going on to me about New York, and she starts explaining to me the horrors of New York right now. She's like, New York is the worst it's ever been. And I'm like, I don't know if it's the worst it's ever been. It's certainly different than I've seen it in a decade and a half, And I said, Manhattan's different because like Fifth Avenue is dead, and like Times Square and Theater District's dead, and the places that are usually bustling with tourism are, of course, dead. But your neighborhoods that occupy residents in Queens and Brooklyn and the Bronx and stuff like that, these people haven't gone anywhere. This is where they live, and this is what they're doing, and they live in their neighborhood, and they're able to have everything they need in a relatively small area, which is good for a pandemic if you really think about it that way. It's not everybody traveling everywhere, but everyone having what they need in a locally sourced area. And things like that. So it's really not that much different, the communities are communities and stuff. And she just starts going off and berating me about all this stuff. And she's like, Brooklyn's the worst. I'm like, actually, my neighborhood in Brooklyn's actually kind of improved because we have better outdoor dining, and it's actually like a little bit more pedestrian friendly, and everything's closed and you can walk around. It's actually kind of the coolest I've seen it ever. Like, sans like people driving over you, So I'm trying to like save this conversation, save this experience as you can see, I just let her basically start cutting here, and then I was just like, we're done, we're leaving. But talking about Cuomo, and I tried to like save it and just go into like routine, like joke, safe conversation, as all you guys know, that like as comics you default to, that you're like, oh, I have this kind of thing I could talk about, which is kind of funny, and maybe this will help steer this conversation in not such a terrible direction, So I try to go into like Cuomo being an Italian American, and I'm like, yeah, I'm like, well, Andrew Cuomo, he's just, your typical, kind of New York Italian American. And she goes, careful, I'm Italian. Let me tell you guys, I assure you, this woman was not fucking Italian, okay? I look at her, I'm like, really? I'm like, da dove viene la tua familia? She's like, okay, so don't even go there with that joke. Okay. I'm like, oh my God, you're driving me crazy. But I understand things in New York have gotten different, and so certainly different, The other day, I was loading my car up. I was leaving to go from Brooklyn to Vermont. I'm loading my car, and I see this homeless man smoking on this stoop, And this homeless guy, he's just completely disheveled. He's like mumbling to himself. He's got stuff all over him. It looked like he actually had fecal matter on his face. And he's like smoking the cigarette. And I finished loading my car and I got ready to go. And this homeless guy stands up, takes out a set of keys, unlocks the front door to the apartment building, and walks in. Okay, so that's where we're at in Brooklyn, right? Our homeless are housed. You know what I'm saying? It's like I don't know. You know, I don't know why this is going on. So it's called a joke. But that's basically my week in reflection. I would say, you know, put a mask on. You know, I think we know that masks work. There's some people in my family who still don't know if the masks work. I think the masks work because we've been using masks for 600 years. I think that masks work because in Venice, they realized that respiratory illnesses spread quicker amongst the unmasked than the masked. We seem to see that same pattern kind of continue to happen for the next 500 years until we were in the 1918 flu and people wore masks, and that seemed to help. And now today, I have some people very close to me that believe wearing masks is a deep-rooted part of the liberal left agenda. Steal your freedom. Okay? They're coming for your freedom, the liberal left media, via the mask. And I would like to dispel this theory because I'm not trying to sound arrogant or worldly or anything like this. But the reason I know that this is not the truth is because I have friends in deep Siberia, Russia, and Brazil, and in Italy, and in Hong Kong, and Japan. And you know what's strange about all these places is they've all been convinced by the same America liberal media to wear a mask. Somehow in countries that don't speak English, they have also been convinced to wear a mask. So this is an alarming, deep-rooted propaganda that has existed for 600 years all over the world and in all sorts of different socioeconomic situations. So be careful. That's a joke as well. Please put a fucking gonna bring our next entertainer to the stage. He's the reason we all tune in here every week and the reason we've made it to number Turkey 1. So ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, HIckory, the drunken underwhelming.
Thank you, sir, but you sorely forgot Mr. Secretary of State-elect, that's President-elect. HIckory, the drunken underwhelming. Tonight I'm gonna perform a feat of mental magic. This is something that I don't normally do, but I dabble in once in a while because sometimes when me and a certain person have had enough beers, we connect on a wavelength that most people can't. So tonight, Matt, I'm gonna ask you, which is wild because Matt and I haven't actually met in person, but I feel like we have this deep-seated connection, and I don't know how to say it, but we're gonna try this. And basically what's going to happen is I'm going to riffle through the deck. I'm going to have you select a card. And then I am going to read your mind. Okay. You just say stop whenever you'd like, sir.
Stop.
Right about there. Okay. So Matt, your card. It's the 3 of diamonds, sir. Now we're gonna take that card. Take that 3 of diamonds and stick her like right there in the middle. Okay. Now I'm gonna give the deck a little shuffle. All right. Although it was mentalism, so I probably shouldn't know that's your card. So we'll start over. And I'll ask you, sir, is your card? Is it a? And not is it one or the other, but is it either a red card or a black card?
Yes.
It's okay. Okay, we're good. Is your card somewhere between an ace and a king?
Ace is a 1?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, yeah, then yes.
Okay, okay. So I feel like I have a good feeling of what your card might be. And I think I found it. Oh. Well, I kind of found your card. It's not perfect, but it's kind of a 3, like 3/4. So I guess we give that like a 3/4 on the magic scale. But the deal was if I could just like and straighten those numbers back out. You'll be back to your 3 of diamonds. Thank you, guys. We're going to do a short one so we can get on to the king and commander of the Zoom Boom. Please welcome to our spotlight stage this evening my mother's second favorite guest that we've had on the show, Mr. Matt Vita.
Yes. All right. I've always strived to be second best at everything I do, so I'm glad that my dreams are continue to be made on this show. All right. Were you guys ready for some new Zoom Booms and some old Zoom Booms and some boom boom Zoom Booms?
Oh, we are ready.
All right. Well, Zoom Boom Boom. Let me hear you say ah. All right. We'll skip the song tonight. Straight to the joke. This is actually, I want to do a disclaimer. As you guys know by now, I write a lot of terrible, unthought-provoking jokes. But I've been recently shaming people into liking them anyway. And I just wanted to share that with you guys because I like you. You'll see what I'm talking about. Anyway, here's the jokes. You guys hear about the gay letter?
No.
It came in the mail. And I just want to say that letter was a friend of mine, and he said, if you don't like that joke, you're a homophobe, all right? Colin, if you're laughing, you might be a homophobe. I'm just saying, Colin, not laughing hard enough to, okay. Anyway, at my apartment, there's a special slot for outgoing mail, and it's like, all right, fucking relax. Okay, Ronald McDonald, you guys hear this? Ronald McDonald from McDonald's is cloning himself, and it's like, moron! There has to be more. Okay, you guys heard the song "One Is the Loneliest Number" by 3 Dog Night?
Yes.
Let me just tell you, 35 is pretty bad too. I feel like if you're over 30, you're either depressed or a liar. Right. Okay. You guys remember that show Nip Tuck?
Yeah.
I've never fucking watched it once, but anytime I would go to the movie theater, I would tuck a nip into my pocket. All right. Nip joke. All right. Where's my alcohol exit? Okay. Speaking of shows, love the show Ozark, right? You guys ever see that?
Yeah.
Great show. Okay. But it got me to thinking that the term money laundering is fucking stupid. All right? This is white collar crime. It should be called money dry cleaning. You want starch? We're going to add it to the fucking vig, right? Okay. It's like, it's kind of like that old Jerry Seinfeld or quote, like, hey, we don't, we park in the driveway, then we drive on the parkway. What's the deal with that, right? I'm sitting over here like, fuck this guy, I park in the fucking street. And I street in the park. All right, that part doesn't work. Speaking of driving, I feel like with all the travel plans I'm seeing on the social media, it looks like the Native Americans might finally get their revenge this Thanksgiving. All right, that's a thought-provoking one. Was that a woke joke? I don't know. I feel like that might have been a woke joke. I wished ills upon privileged people, so I think it was woke. I miss live comedy. I do miss live comedy, connection with an audience. This next thing, not a joke, just like a fun story. I may have shared this with you guys before, but one of the last times I did live comedy in New Hampshire, in the middle of my set in a room full of 150 people, the owner's mother actually paid me $10 to take my shirt off. She's like, owner's mother, whatever I says goes. Like 10 minutes later, she paid me $20 to put it back on. You used to get crazy back in those days. Last week, I was doing a Zoom show, and after my set during the next comic, I farted so loud I got a "you are currently on mute." We're still getting crazy, man. It's just different. Okay, I like to do crowd work too, which like just doesn't work in Zoom, you know. And like, I feel like you guys run a comedy club, so I feel like we could agree. Like, if you go to a comedy club and you sit in the front row and your date's drunk and you start talking during the comics, like, everyone in that room is on the same page. Like, that person should get ripped apart, right? I think we can all agree with that.
Yep.
But if you like come on a Zoom show, like you cozy on up to your pajamas, go on your couch, and I start riffing on you, then just feels like intrusive. Even if you do got ice cream dripping down your fucking face over there. All right, that bit only works when the show is on Zoom. I did that last week. I don't know. This was fun. Oh yeah, this happened. So I told a joke last week, and I got a better laugh out of a reaction than the audience got out of the joke. So I'd like to share that with you guys since we're kindred spirits here. I'll do the joke first and then the after stuff. So this one's just for my prostitute people. I know GW is talking about the prostitutes in his set. Like GW, you know, like when you go to a prostitute and you like pay a little extra to get the girlfriend experience?
Yeah.
In quarantine, I've been paying my girlfriend a little extra to get the prostitute experience. So that's the joke. It's fine, right? So I did this joke the other day, and this guy's wife was on the show in the Zoom, and just like very casually after the punchline, she's just like, "Yeah, it's just no kissing," and like, just the way she said it was just so cute and like innocent. I don't know. I just loved it. And also, I didn't know what the prostitute experience was, so she clarified. Thank you. Here's a terrible joke. What do you call a man that likes to watch his wife have sex with other men while drawing pictures of shit?
I don't know.
A cockadoodle-doo. He actually, he had a gay brother. He said it, well, a cock and a doodle-doo. Now their mother, guys, let me tell you their mother, this is what their mother would say. Their mother, oh, she's like, what do you want from me? I tried as hard as I could. All right, she was a single mother. If you don't like that joke, you don't support strong, independent woman. All right, she ain't liking my terrible things. This is a thing that's fake. Okay, no. I set up like the cable for my dear old Italian grandmother a couple years ago, and I gave her like a list. Because there's like 3 different remotes, you know, you got to turn the TiVo on, then the cable box, this. So I just wrote her a list of like troubleshooting. I called it TV information. And then one day the cable went out and I was like unavailable. So she wound up calling her internet service provider. And they're talking to her. They're like, well, what's going on? She's like, the TV, and no work. Hey, my grandson, he gives me this information. They said, what? They're what? He's like, yeah. They're like, what did he give you? She's like, disinformation. What? Disinformation. Then the fucking Russian bots came down. George Washington fucking ripped apart on Reddit. Okay, R.I.P. Grandma. I'll end this with a couple of quick impersonations. This first one, this is my impersonation of an emotionally available, well-adjusted 35-year-old. Fuck, all right, I'm still not there yet. Guys, this next one, this is my impersonation of Ricola, the Swiss cough drop company. The one time they put out a bad batch, it had Ebola virus in it. Ricola. All right, this is my impersonation of Steve Irwin, the crocodile hunter, if you're still alive. Oh, I might. Right, because of the accent. Okay, this is my impersonation of Bruce Lee, if he was still alive. Actually, I don't feel comfortable doing that accent, and it would ruin the joke. Okay. Impersonation of Kanye West if he was dead. right? Because we can't even finally shut the fuck up, Kanye. All right, a couple of quick ones. This is my impersonation of my butthole after my first cup of coffee. Ah! Okay, this is my impersonation of my brain after my second cup of coffee. Ah! Right, anxiety. Anybody else? Okay, this is my impersonation of my bladder after my third cup of coffee. Hey guys, my turn. Right, it's a diuretic. Okay, that's the Zoom booms for the day. Give it up to all the wonderful people in the boxes. I guess I'm throwing it back to your wonderful host, Hickory the Drunk and Underwhelming.
Oh, thank you guys for being here. Matt, thanks for coming out. It's good to see you again, my friend. I hope all is well down there in the Big Apple. And happy premature Thanksgiving to everybody.
Yes.
No matter how you're celebrating. I personally was gonna, I don't know, light something on fire and call it a protest, and then we were just gonna get together anyways. It was gonna be great. You know, like a Turkey Lives Matter sign. I don't know if that's insensitive, but Hickory the Drunk and Underwhelming never really cared. So we're gonna move right along. Our first topic. I wanted to bring up the fact that Facebook has now demoted Joe Biden from president-elect to politician. Do you guys think this has an impact on anybody? Does anybody give a shit at this point? And does it really matter what Facebook says? I mean, they could rename me to the president-elect Hickory the Drunk and Underwhelming, and nobody would give a shit because they'd all be like, "That's not true." I'll turn it over to you first, Matt. What do you think about this breaking development?
I think Facebook is just losing their influence. I mean, they're just, I think, proving themselves to be dumber and dumber as time goes. So, I mean, who cares? I think less people are caring because it's fucking bullshit.
Colin, your thoughts on this?
Well, you know, my immediate thought is, you know, that Joe Biden is not aware of this, just given the age demographic, right? But let's just say age 75 and up, you could just rearrange that pretty much entire section of information. People wouldn't know. You know, if Joe Biden saw it, he'd be like, this is bullshit. Politician, I'm the president, you know, and I don't know what this is. If he saw it, you know what I mean? If he saw it. As far as Facebook goes as a space, very good point, Matt. Where do we go from here? Does this really just look like a complete waste space of anti-intellectualism that is just completely open mouth breathing? I mean, I don't know where we're headed in this direction. The idea of zero fact checking, zero accountability, and I understand some people say that censorship, right? I think that a lot of these people are under scrutiny of, can you censor the president if he's saying something to the American public as a blatant lie? I don't know. Why don't we try it just for good kicks, you know? You know, as far as institutions like the Washington Post, the New York Times, even with basis and for influence and very affluent influentials over these things, oftentimes given the process of press, given the process of actually citing your sources, verifying your information, things like that, I think that there is such thing as responsible reporting. That's a little off topic from this, but I just think that as far as Facebook goes, they can do something like this. Facebook could just randomly change something like this, as strange as it may seem, and it seems completely normal in the realm of Facebook land. You know.
G-Dubs, you got any thoughts on this?
No, I don't. Because you know why? Fuck Biden. like I don't. I could give two shits what Facebook calls him. He's a career politician who, like, nothing is gonna change, and whatever. Yeah, he's a politician. Ooh.
I'd like to think he saw it, like, scrolling through, you know, he's like somewhere in between like a cat meme and like a inspirational quote. There was just you've now been relabeled as politician, and you're just like, are we not running for Senate no more? So,
You know, his first thought is he picks up the phone and he's like, God damn it. And he's like, now I just read the Facebook. What the hell's the Wikipedia say?
It is crazy though, because like Facebook is like under no like official ruling or anything. It's like kind of like trying to make itself its own empire. Like when Facebook first started, I used to change my name every week. Like we would take like dumb punny, obviously you could tell by my terrible jokes, I love puns. So like for instance, like at one point my favorite one, like I was Matt Vita Infertilization. So like it was like me from an embryo down to like my face. But, like every week me and my friends were like change your name. And now like my buddy said like he tried to change his name and like they were asking for his passport to do it. And it's like who, yeah, like zuck off, dog. Like who are you? This is just a stupid website. It's like,
it's just me, Matt Veet Fertilization. Like I've always been. Okay.
Speaking of dumb social media shit going on, was that last week, 8 or 9 days ago, the hashtag the Great Reset trended on Twitter, which many people did not know what the Great Reset was, but in basic terms, it's taking the evil capitalist societies all around the world and consolidating them down to one big government with one form of currency and all this. And it all spawned because Justin Trudeau happened to actually say that due to COVID-19, this would be a great time for a reset. And I figured you guys might know about this. I actually looked it up. The World Economic Forum took down a good portion of their site this past week because people were referencing it. Old articles got pulled, such as, imagining the world in 2030, you'll own nothing and you'll be happier. So I figured you guys might have heard of this. What do you think? Is it a conspiracy theory, or is there something there, or does it even really matter?
He's just trying to hide the blackface photos, because if there's a reset, then
oh, well done, my friend. G-Dubs, you got any thoughts on the reset?
It reminds me of that, like every couple years or so, the Amero pops back up. And what the Amero is, so this is a great story. Sorry. After the euro, the dollar, the unit of money, the euro was invented for the European Union. A private company in America created the Amero, which was a coin that was a unit of measure or unit of money for all of North America. That instead of the exchange rates, one Amero in Mexico would be the same as the United States as in Canada. And every couple years or so, it surfaces again, and that's the same thing that I'm thinking with this. Like, yeah, Trudeau's too stupid to actually know about one world government. Like, he may think that he knows, but come on, let's be serious. He's too busy feeling up like people. And that punchline just fell flat. But,
so can we get the Amero? Is that a currency that's available?
Yeah. No. Well, you can buy them. You can literally buy these coins that say Amero on them. I will send you the links later.
Okay.
Please do. I'm interested in purchasing some Amero. I would like to pick up on GW's point, which the question was, please remind me.
What do you think about the Great Reset? Do you think it's just a conspiracy?
Oh yeah, Great Reset. Yeah. This is what I like to say about this. This is the most boomer solution to the world's problems I've ever heard. Yeah, they are absolutely came up with the reset, and it's a bunch of boomers sitting around in one room like, the world's got a bunch of problems. have we tried a great reset? Like, oh, the Amazon doesn't have a rainforest anymore. Have we just tried resetting it? Like, oh, the economy is completely screwed. Have we just tried unplugging that and plugging it back in? Like, okay, boomers, we get your idea. You think you're going to great reset everything, but guess what? You've done enough damage. So just step aside, give it up, retire, and please leave a little space for us to try to save the world before you destroy what's left of it.
I just had the
only time
vision.
the reset ever worked was the original NES. Name one other point in history when reset has worked. That's it. It was a singularity in time. NES reset. That's it. It was done at that point.
This is what I'm saying, Matt. This is people literally in the World Economic Forum looking at like, have we just tried resetting the economy? Has anyone tried that? Maybe we just reset it. It's like, oh, I'm just lost. I am dumbfounded.
Next, he's going to come out and say, like, all right, well, if the reset doesn't work, you got to get another economy and shove it under the first economy and kind of jab it in there just so the two economies are going
to those world currencies down its throat until hopefully we prop this thing back up.
And if you put the first economy under the second economy long enough, they'll produce little economy babies, and you'll get it.
We've seen it before.
Well, what if it's two male economies? The patriarchy.
Then they can adopt another economy. I was gonna say, Vita, on point. When Colin was talking, I had this vision of like the great boomer that controls all boomers just walking into the room and being like, it's not working. And then putting it back in, being like, well, does it work now? No, one more time. Hold on.
Yeah. Maybe I didn't have the right amount of humidity in my breath as I blow on the Sega Genesis cartridge of an economy and try to jam this back in.
The irony is that we're going to find out that COVID is really great for those Genesis cartridges.
Did anyone own NES?
Yeah. And Atari.
Do you remember the trick where, like, if the reset didn't work, you would take one and then you put the other one in and you like snapped it in, and it was like the weirdest thing. Did you ever do that?
No, I never had a cartridge sandwich in my NES.
That was like, that's the great reset. That's the great.
You like being dual dock?
Yeah, cartridge sandwich, man. That is some old school shit right there.
That sounds a little too pornographic for me.
What are you gonna do? I actually have a Sega Genesis that works beautifully. You just gotta find a way you gotta run it through potentially a VHS, which are a dying breed. You gotta convert it over, you know what I mean, to 3-prong. You know what I'm saying? You gotta get the audio and the digital as video in, and it's becoming quite trying in these times. But these are things that we work on here at Hickory, the Drunken Underwhelming.
These are the things that matter.
These are the things that matter.
They don't have a auxiliary to HDMI yet.
Well, GW, I used to buy these things at the Radio Shack. Anybody remember those?
Yeah.
And like people are like that, some guy at Radio Shack right now is like, I could very easily convert your damn Sega Genesis to HDMI if we had a Radio Shack, but they're gone.
And during these times, they're probably backstocked online for quite a few weeks. We'll hold on though and hope for the best. Hopefully we're gonna get that Sega going back. We're gonna get to play that Michael Jackson game with the monkey on his shoulder. That was a true gem masterpiece of the Sega Genesis era.
I have Shaq Fu at the Comedy Club.
Shaq Fu?
Shaq Fu. This was a Shaq Kung Fu game from 1992.
I remember that game.
Dumb ideas aren't exclusive to 2020 out there, people.
Not by any means.
Speaking of, well, that wasn't a good. Anyways, we're gonna move on. I was trying to segue that, it just didn't work. It was considering the owner of the Segway drove himself off a cliff to his death. That is the second worst segue that has ever happened. We're talking about the rumor, the myth, the great fallacy that, and I'm sure you guys may have heard this, that the turkey was supposed to be our national bird. Through some fact checking that I did, I dug around online and realized that this wasn't true. Apparently, it was quoted that Benjamin Franklin, and given these are 250-year-old quotes, and we can't trust quotes from this morning, so take it with a grain of salt. That he said he didn't say that he wanted the turkey to be the national bird back on July 4th of 1776. That he said that our emblem of the eagle on the coin looked like a turkey, and that got turned into this. And I mean, who knows? But the real question is, if you guys could pick a national animal that would be on our coin, what would it be? I'd ask Colin first, but he looks like he's so deep in trance.
I actually think I have it. Interesting question, interesting fact. As most of you watching at home know, I get all my information here at the show, at HIckory, the Drunk and Underwhelming. This is where I find out about current affairs, the news, everything else. I would probably recommend that you do the same. Why not, right? Let's roll the dice. But I, as you were saying that, I actually had a thought that I hosted a exchange student from Slovakia when I was in high school. And I asked her one time, like, what did you think like Americans look like? What did you think? Like, how did you, kind of, however you call it, think about us, or what did you think? What's the word I'm looking for here?
Conceptualize?
Yeah, you kind of visualized or something like that. Thought that how we looked. And she goes, I thought that every American drove a Cadillac with a set of bullhorns on it, with a cowboy hat, eating a cheeseburger. That's how Europeans visualized us in the 90s. You know what I mean? Just driving a Cadillac with the bullhorns. And so I would say to that point that I think that probably the cow, the bull, as in even Wall Street views the bull as a bull market and a kind of a symbol of power, and things like that. Plus that coupled with our prairie lands, the buffalo being the indigenous, one of the large, plentiful indigenous animals of the land. And the fact that, I look at cows kind of like America, and the fact that they're like brute, large power. You know what I mean? It's like, if you look at the landmass of America, it's this large landmass. If you look at kind of our dominance and things like that, it's kind of just this idea of like a unity herd stampede kind of thing. And this idea of kind of charging forward with the head down and the points up, I think is probably a fair analogy of America. So I'd say, like, as bullish and kind of maybe as like crazy as it sounds, I think like the bull's probably a fair animal for America.
Well, that is a very well rational and thought out response. I swear to God, you were going to say boss hog should be your national animal. I was so excited for it. Like, oh yeah, he's eating that cheeseburger and it's dripping down his skin and he's rubbing it on his white suit. Oh, pudgy and fat like most Americans. Perfect. G-Dubs, what about you? If you could pick a national animal, my friend.
I would say bears.
Ooh, bears.
But not like rawr bears, but like rawr bears. Like hairy gay guys. I think that would be great out of the coin.
And what better way to say fuck you to the Middle East than put a big old bear.
Couple $50 coins and pay that in oil money.
It's just a bear in front of an oil refinery. Like, yeah, we got this. Rawr.
Working on the dikes.
Vito, what do you think, man? If you could pick a national.
I got one, but before I get to that, so it was Thomas Edison that said the the turkey comment?
No, that would have been great too. No, it was Benjamin Franklin.
Well, I just want to say, hey, Benjamin Franklin, thanks for fat shaming the fucking eagle, you asshole. All right. But I would go with the dolphin because, and the reason being is the dolphin is the only other animal other than human that has sex for pleasure. And I feel like we're just pleasure seekers here. We just trying to fuck in the USA, whether it's fuck in a nice way or fuck people over. So I'm going dolphin. The big wiener.
Dolphins love to fuck.
That's a great answer as well. I'm going to hold true that with, I think the turkey should be the national anthem. Mostly because most turkeys are a single breed across the United States, and we all eat this one specifically bred breed, which is like most people in the US. But there's all these different heritage breeds and these small independent pockets of turkeys that are different than other turkeys and have different cultures and different social structures. And not to mention that, much like Americans, a single turkey ain't gonna do much. You can beat it down with a bat. They're pretty dumb, but you get a whole bunch of those motherfuckers together, and they bring the talons out, and they're a fierce animal. Not to mention they're assholes. So I think they perfectly symbolize America as a whole right now, and I honestly think that the turkey would be a great representative as the American bird.
And you've got a great turkey just to your right shoulder right there.
Oh yeah, there's a
turkey.
100.
No, you got the turkey there, but then this turkey over. Keep going. Nope, to your right. Yeah, the skeleton turkey. Yeah, there you go.
Skeleton turkey.
You got
And
the skeleton
one on the head.
turkey.
There's 3 birds in the shot. I'm American as fuck right now. It's like I'm wearing red and blue, and I'm white. It's crazy. There's so much patriotism just flowing. By the way, sorry, we're drinking. On to our next subject. I wanted to read this article real quick. I sent it to you guys earlier, and I hope everyone goes out and looks at the Babylon Bee. They are fake news that you can trust, and my God, are they producing some wonderful articles lately. Recently, we had this article. The headline is, "We must cancel Thanksgiving," says CDC scientist who looks suspiciously like a turkey in a lab coat. In Atlanta, Georgia, a CDC scientist has called the nation to cancel Thanksgiving, but many are suspicious of the announcement since the scientist looks remarkably like a turkey wearing a lab coat and sciencey looking glasses. He says, "We must cancel Thanksgiving this year. It's completely off the table." The scientist, Dr. Peckengobble, says, "All gatherings must cease, and we must encourage everyone to stay at their home alone and maybe eat some broccoli or some leaves or some grass or even some nice berries or insects. You'd be surprised about how much protein you can get from a nice delicious bug." The scientist also said we should cancel Christmas gatherings, especially ones where poultry is the traditionally served. We must all make sacrifices, Gobble and Peck continued. And honestly, with the way things are looking, we should probably cancel Thanksgiving next year and even the year after that. In fact, maybe we should make a new holiday where eating a bird isn't the main event. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
"Hey, wait a minute," shouted one journalist at the press conference. "He's a turkey, get him." Fortunately, that journalist was thrown out for being a racist and anti-science. And I just wanted to get your guys' opinion. Are we really taking these people's advice much more seriously than if it was a turkey in a lab coat with glasses on? Or does this pretty much sum up the state of the U.S. and what people are thinking right now?
Well,
just start. Oh, okay, Colin, we'll start with you.
No, I would just start by saying I would say that 1 million people. What did I say? I think it was more than 1 million people, but actually, it was a million people on flights 2 days ago, traveling around America. Second highest travel day in this quarantine. So, I mean, I would think that the idea of people foregoing Thanksgiving this year, if you just look at like what basically flights are doing and stuff like that, travel is down 50%. It's not down more than 50%. So that's half of the people in America are traveling as they would. Half of the people are staying home. You look at the Biden-Trump election, half of the people voted for Trump, half the people voted for Biden. So I would say just winging it out there that one could argue probably that divide is probably the divide of travel versus not travel, dining together versus non-dining together. So I would say about half of the people are probably taking this seriously, half the people are not, or however you want to look at it. But I would say probably that's where we're at. The numbers of people traveling, 50% of travel up, I would say is pretty high. So we'll see how this goes. Unfortunately, the one thing I will say is if this doesn't go well in 2 weeks, 3 weeks down the line, you're going to see a much tougher situation going into Christmas. And that's going to be disheartening, but we'll see what happens.
We're going to follow that up with a quick quote from a Babylon Bee article that just got published. This is breaking news, folks. It says Hunter Biden arrives at the White House dressed as a turkey in hopes of being pardoned by Trump. G-Dubs, do you think this strategy is going to work?
Yes, it is. Well, any wrestling fan knows about the Gobbledygooker, who was one of the most premier wrestling athletes of all time in the WWF, now WWE, and Trump was in the WWE. So
I just watched that clip of him the other day punching Vince McMahon in the back of the head a bunch of times.
Hall of Famer Donald Trump, not just an entertainer. Hall of Famer Donald Trump. He's in the WWE Hall of Fame. So I think he's gonna think that it's the Gobbledygooker, and then pardon him. That makes sense to me.
It makes perfect sense. Mr. Vita, are you aware of the gooker? The Gobbledygooker. I don't want that to come out as an insensitive.
No, not taken as offensive. I was more of a bushwhacker bros kind of bro. Never got cooked up.
Yeah.
Never got cooked up.
I was a fan.
I only watched tag team matches: Legions of Doom, Bushwhacker Brothers.
Cousins.
They were cousins?
Yeah. Looking
The Nasty Boys. What about them? Were you a fan of the Nasty Boys?
I don't know. I don't remember the Nasty.
You don't remember the Nasty Boys?
No.
Oh man, they had this great their signature move was literally to take your head and just rub it in their armpit. It was great. It was pretty much what every teenage boy wishing they could do to everyone that ever bullied them. I miss those days.
It's a great move.
Yeah,
it's a great move.
It's a great move. But yeah, the Gobbledygooker, I remember waiting weeks and weeks and weeks for that guy to hatch. And, I got to say, I'm staying strong with Turkey. I think the Gobbledygooker should be. Is he in the Hall of Fame, G-Dubs? Do you know?
I believe they try to forget about that as much as possible.
Well, you know what? We're going to have to start a campaign on this show. So I'm asking everybody out there to go to, fuck WWE.com. Let's go to change.org. The petition. Let's start us a legit petition to get Vince McMahon to recognize the Gobbledygooker as the strongest turkey in WWE.
We need your help this holiday season. Make this Thanksgiving count. Get the Gobbledygooker in the Hall of Fame. This is important stuff. Trying times. Gobbledygooker, where is he? Does he have an organic bird? Is it $5 a pound? We don't know. Let's make this happen, folks. Change.org.
I just realized something. I think it's the 30-year anniversary of Gobbledygooker, because he
came out the SummerSlam that the Undertaker debuted.
Yeah,
and it is this SummerSlam. I thought about putting that on the show, but I didn't know if Vita and Collen were going to get it, so I didn't want to venture into that territory too much. But the Undertaker's actually having his retirement.
He just did yesterday.
Yep, and was
the Undertaker, believe it or not, would cut to sentimental music. Thank you, G-Dubs. The Undertaker touched my life in ways that I can't quite convey to our audience.
Oh man, that's awesome, Vita. Thank you for finding that.
When the Undertaker would do this move, and somehow he made his eyes all white by rolling him to the back of his skull. Boy, did that not touch every child's soul in a way that they did not want to sleep at night.
Yep.
You know what, actually, I think I found out by one of you guys that The Undertaker and his brother Kane were not actually real brothers.
No.
And that actually broke my fucking heart. Do you know that? Like, I found that out like latter 20s, and I was like, they're not really brothers.
You know what will help heal is that Glenn Jacobs, the man who is Kane, is sitting mayor, I believe, in South Carolina.
Knox County, Tennessee, I believe.
Yeah, there we go. See, look at me with, I don't care. I'm the president-elect. I don't have to get facts and figures straight. I can just make it up and people check me later.
That day was the second word day. It was like, Santa's not real. And then like I found out like The Undertaker and Kane weren't brothers. And like those 2 days were like 30 years apart, but equally as devastating. I can't quite describe it.
He's not actually a dead man, right? like he's actually quite alive.
UW, please just stop and just let me believe what I believe, my friend.
Yeah, that's a harsh purple and red pill to swallow. Find out that the Taker and Kane aren't brothers. Matt Vita looks like he's sitting over there, has no idea what the fuck we're talking about.
Let's bring back the bushwhackers.
I was going to say one last comment about you knew that Trump was a big deal back in the day if Vince McMahon was letting him punch him in the back of the head during a pay-per-view and he was on the roster. It's like a pretty big deal. I don't know if you guys know much about Vince, but that guy doesn't give anything to anyone. And he let Donald Trump shave his head. That's
yeah, but you would do that too for 6 months, no rent. You know what I mean?
That's true.
Like Vince McMahon was in a Trump like penthouse somewhere, and he's like, "Look, you punched me in the head 4 times and shaved my head and scratched my balls, and I'm not paying for 8 months rent." You know what I mean? Like, that's what it is. All right.
Well, I personally, I'll say I'd let Trump shave any part of my body just for the likes on Facebook at this point. just for the Instagram views.
There's a T in your back hair. It's like I just want a big T. That's it.
I'd ask him if he just signed his name though in the back there.
ET across the top of my shoulder blades. All right.
We're gonna get to our last point. We're running a little over. I hope that's okay with everyone. I thought we'd bring up the cheese factor and just ask everyone. There's been a lot of shit this year. There's been a lot of bad situations. COVID started back in March. We declared an emergency federally. We are officially at day 251 of the 15 days to slow the spread, which obviously didn't work fucking well. We've seen many people rise and fall, including Dr. Fauci, has had great moments and awful moments. We saw riots across the country. We saw historically bad wildfires. We saw a plethora of guests, both great and awful on the show. No, I'm just kidding. There hasn't been a bad guest yet. We've had a great time. But with all that coming up on the holidays, where a classic time where people get together and enjoy their family and carve up a goddamn bird and pluck the stuffing out of it and pretend they're not getting salmonella. I just want to ask you guys, I know there's a silver lining in all of this, and I just wanted to ask you guys what you were grateful for. Matt, the guest of honor, we'll start with you, sir. What are you grateful for this Thanksgiving this year?
I'm gonna up the ante on the cheese factor. I'm grateful for you guys. This has been a super fun show, and I truly mean that. And it's like, you guys are awesome, and like from a broader sense of that true statement, like I probably wouldn't have met you guys. And there's a couple other like creative projects I got involved in this year that are been facilitated by the fact that everything's virtual. So like, whereas on the whole it's bad for the arts, there's been pockets of like, oh well, I met these people that I wouldn't have met, and like I'm involved in this project that I wouldn't have been involved in. So it's like, why focus on the fact that Broadway's shut down, or a lot of productions are shut down, or that we can't go to a comedy club, so I itch, and I'm like, ugh. But you know, let's focus on this. This is good. This is cool. Like, you guys are fucking awesome, and I can't wait to give you a hug and have a beer in person at some point. which me and Colin had a beer in person in Brooklyn. So fuck yeah.
I'm jealous. Jealous. G-Dubs, what are you thankful for this Thanksgiving, my friend?
I'm thankful that I have a roof over my head, and I'm gonna steal Matt's thing and be like, I'm thankful for the show, because I know if I didn't, it would be boring Monday nights, and nobody likes boring Monday nights.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate you guys too, and I'm getting all soft over here. I need more beer. Colin, what, my friend, are you thankful for this year?
This year I am thankful for my family, which I will not be able to see all of them, which is sad, but I really truly am thankful for my family. I have a wonderful support system behind me between my siblings, my brother and my sister, who I love, and my parents and my cousins and my aunts and uncles. And family to me is something that means a lot, and I'm very thankful that I live in a family that is reciprocatory, and that means a lot. When the chips are down, when things aren't going the way that you want, it's family. That's that support system that gets you through that more often than not. You're very lucky if you have friend support system that's that strong that will get you through it. But sometimes it really is when it, that rudimentary, support system is what gets you through the toughest time. So I'm thankful that I have a family that's done that for me many times. I'm thankful for the Bridgewater Area Community Foundation and the work that we've done this year. I don't talk about it a lot publicly, but I'm very proud and thankful of all the work that everyone's done. And we've made some really significant gains this year through this really tough time. And I'm very extremely thankful for that, and it's brought me a lot of happiness recently of the gains we've been making. So that's wonderful. Thankful for the Woolen Mill Comedy Club. Thankful for everything with the mill. We've weathered the storm. We've been able to have 2 shows through this thing. We had one show that was fairly well attended, second show that was not well attended on Halloween, which everyone was enjoying their other things, and that's fine. And it's unfortunately, this is just not the year for indoor entertainment. But I'm thankful that we've been managed to weather the storm. We'll continue to weather the storm, and we will go back into indoor programming when it's safe. So I'm very thankful for that. In a time that many comedy clubs have closed, I'm thankful that we're gonna weather the storm. And lastly, to Matt and GW's point, I'm very thankful for you, HIckory, the Drunken Underwhelming, and this show, because as they both have pointed out, this show really has been, I think about it tonight, 31 shows. If we hadn't had this show, how much we would have missed, how much stuff we wouldn't have discussed, how much stuff we wouldn't have observed, how much stuff we wouldn't have written down and talked about. And through this whole process of such a challenging year, having something that every week we're able to go to, watch, discuss, create something positive out of this negativity has been such a wonderful thing. So I thank you. I thank you guys for this show, and I'm very thankful for all of this. And if it wouldn't been for the pandemic, perhaps we wouldn't have taken something like this online, which I think over time will probably have some really wonderful effects to it. So I'm thankful for you guys. I'm thankful for the show. Cheers.
Thank you guys. Cheers. God, with a group of comics, I was expecting more witty comments. I was going to say something like I was grateful that we have developed drive-through strip clubs. Pretty big up there. I was pretty grateful that every woman looks like a dime with a mask on for the most part. That's been really helpful. But no, in all seriousness, I want to thank everybody. We're on Turkey 1. That's fucking crazy. I think that we've been doing this 31 weeks. And 6 weeks in, we were like, oh shit, guys, we might have to change the name of the show from the quarantine show to something else. And it looks like, no, we're just getting ready to start season 2. So no, I want to big thanks to everybody who's made this possible. This has been an awesome experience. I'd never dreamed a year ago that I'd be sitting here with a fucking turkey hat on, with a set in my spare room, hanging out with my friends online. I thought this was going to only be one of those like Friday, Saturday nights at a comedy club thing, and had no idea that it would be well received by both people who enjoy watching the show, and the people who enjoy being on the show. It's been a great opportunity. We've gotten to meet awesome people like Matt. Matt, I want to appreciate you. Thank you for introducing us to other people like Will Pepora, who's been great on the show, and we've had a great time with him. And it's also allowed us to stay in contact with people who we would have lost contact with, like Pierre, because he lives that far away, and Taggart and Dan and all the great guests that we've had on the show. And thank you guys for making this happen, because it's been cool. And I feel like I've learned a lot in that in the future it's only up from here. And there's a lot of great possibilities that we can do with it. I also want to say that I'm thankful for my family. I'm thankful that I have a job, that my main gig is in an essential industry. And I'm not grateful that I've been busier than I was during the normal times, but you take what you can get. And the silver lining there is I'm going to get paid out for my vacation time. So I'm going to be cracker rich by the time this thing is over. And a big thanks to everybody who's been supporting the mask wearing, people who have been taking COVID fairly seriously, no matter which aisle of the political divide that you're on. Just remember, for my conservative friends out there, it's fucking cool to wear a mask and carry a handgun at the same time. As guys, that opportunity has never presented itself before April, and now here I am. I'm totally comfortable. I've walked into a bank twice that way. It's incredible. I thought I would have been shot a year ago, but here we are, just living a Wild West dream. And thank you guys. I really, really appreciate you. And yeah, I didn't mean to get so sappy there. I really thought we were going to make a bunch of jokes. That was going to be a fun going out segment, but we're running a little over. Anybody got anything they want to get off their chest before we go? And also plugs? No? G-Dubs, you're good?
I'm good.
Vita, you got anything to say before we get on out of here?
Drive-through strip clubs.
It's a great idea, man. I'm thinking about opening one.
I'm thinking about working at one.
And for anyone who's interested in seeing this, is located on US Route 4 here in Bridgewater, Vermont. Presented by HIckory, the Drunken Underwhelming. And I would just like to say, we'll see you guys here next week. And hope everyone has a wonderful Thanksgiving, whatever type of scaled back, strange thing it is. I hope that everyone's able to take some time for themselves to relax, enjoy the day, have a good meal. And now that we're all in this together, we're all thinking of each other, and we'll get back to things when the dust settles a little bit.
Yes, in the great words of the great Red Green from Canada, I'm pulling for you. We're all in this together. And that man's a great man. He also left us with such wisdoms as, if the women don't find you handsome, they should at least find you handy. And that's pretty much all we got for this week. I want to thank you guys for getting us all the way to Turkey 1. Turkey 1, Human 0. They won this Thanksgiving. It's next year we're coming for you, Turkey. We're fucking coming fierce. And oh yeah, there'll be even more next year. There's gonna be a massive turkey slaughter. It's gonna be great. Anyway, Matt, thanks for coming out. We really appreciate having you on the show, and I'm sure you'll be back shortly. I'm not joking when I say you are my mom's second favorite guest, which is no slight to you, because she has, I will reveal it when her most popular guest is on the show again, because she has a very, very like almost emotional reason for loving that one. But to be her
Don't worry, Mrs. HIckory, GW and I, that doesn't mean nothing to us, does it, GW?
Yeah, no, I'm not hurt. I'm
Whoa,
not
whoa,
hurt
whoa.
at all.
She didn't say anything about co-hosts. She said about guests, okay? Let's not tangle her words up like she's a politician.
I was a guest at one point.
That's true. But now she thinks of you as a co-host, and that's no, she likes both you guys. It's good. So Matt, we'll be back in touch. We'll have you on again shortly. Who knows? Maybe we'll all wear some Santa hats and be ridiculous in a couple weeks because it's right around the corner, and
God, that's
we're
scary.
ready for the shit show that's going to be Thanksgiving. I'm sure Christmas is going to be just a big one. Anyways, we've been rambling too long. Everybody, I am HIckory, the Drunk and Underwhelming, the President-elect, signing out with Vice President-elect G.W. Foley, Secretary of State-elect Mr. Collen Doyle, and the chairman of Having a Good Fucking Time and the king of the Zoom Boom, Matt Vita. Thank you guys for joining us. This has been the HIckory Drunk and Under Quarantine show presented by Woolen Comedy Mill. And please, everybody, remember to stay safe, stay drunk, stay underwhelming. Most importantly, stay fucking sane. Okay, we are no longer live. Oh, except on, I'm still recording. You guys want to do like 5 minutes on this YouTube only? No, we'll wrap it up. But...
This is for the real fans.
I
Well,
was thinking about we might do
let me tell you motherfuckers how it really is over here.
I was thinking we might do a segment like that in the future where we plan out a 6 subjects and just do it on YouTube to migrate people over there and then maybe post it up on Rumble too. But I just want to end the live segment on YouTube by saying Johnny Rotten got bit on the D by a flea. Good evening.